conversation with the people on the shitters, and I let her finish. I guess it's talk for a few minutes, and I just was silent.
It's fine to park them on the street right there last year, but we can't do it this year.
Was David coming tonight?
So I guess we're
About
not
putting
putting
a vehicle outside of it or something. I mean, you could put cones about it. I would not be agreeing.
She told him we'll stay at our house and park it in one of our drives.
Do what now?
Park it up at one of our drives at the house.
Yeah, I mean,
And then as soon as they leave, we'll pull them on the street.
sure.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best thing to do.
Everybody up and running? Call the meeting to order. Everybody have a chance to read the minutes of the last meeting?
I'll move to approve it.
Okay. Moved by Amanda and second by Cale. All in favor? Minutes approved. Then we had the special meeting on August the 17th. You have a chance to read that?
I'll move to approve.
Okay, been moved by Amanda again, second by Dara. All in favor? Minutes approved. Cody's coming?
I haven't heard from him.
Okay. New business, ban shell rental agreements, special event permits. First one's from the St. Francis Music Club, CC4C, for the Wind Quintet concert. You got more on that?
Not a whole lot. It's just a traveling quintet of wind instruments. They'll be playing, just playing some music. No vendors, nothing. Just a simple concert in the band shell on Sunday, the day after the Bike Timber Fest, in the afternoon. They are a non-profit, so they would like us to waive the rental fee for the band shell if possible. And there's nothing weird going on that would require probably liability insurance, so those would be the things for the council to decide.
Okay, we got a motion to waive all fees and allow the music club to have their concert on, so that'll be on the 20th of September.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Larry, second by Kel. All in favor? Approved. The next one is for the Bike Timber Fest motorcycle deal, and we will be blocking off part of the streets like we always have, and Riverside is going to do the liquor permit for the Bike Timber Fest this year. And so we would be asking the same thing to waive the fees and everything, and vendor fees that would be coming in on that day.
And the only fee that, just as a reminder, that we generally don't waive is the special permit fee for the alcohol.
What's that costing now?
$100.
$100 for
Yep. And the reason, just as a reminder, the reason that was decided to be $100 is in our code for the cereal malt beverage special event permits. It's $100, and that was to keep it consistent. And it was to pay for the resolution, the creation of the resolution by the city attorney. However, with that said, I have found out that it doesn't have to be, the attorney does not have to create the resolution. I send it out on the clerk link, and the majority of city clerks, when it's something simple like that, where it's just a repeat and you're just changing information, the city clerks are doing it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if that's something the council, as a matter of fact, the one that for tonight I created because Lauren is on vacation, and in order to get it done, it needed to get done. And so the mayor gave approval for me to go ahead and do it.
And I think anytime we have some of these things like this that Lila can do, we don't need to be paying Lauren for that.
And that's nothing new. We did that with weed letters a long time ago as a cost-saving measure and a lot of those basic things. And I didn't realize the resolution could be done like that, or probably would have been done a long time ago.
I did not either, and so
Yeah, that's a good thing.
ordinances like the traffic ordinances, anything that's just a simple repeat that doesn't require a review by an attorney, the city clerks, everybody that responded to my question on the clerk link said, well, we do it. And if it's something that we feel like needs to be reviewed, then we send it to the attorney for review, so. Anyway, something to think about. But that fee, well, so I'll wrap back around to that, so that fee that's there, that would be something for the council to decide. So now it's not a fee to pay for the resolution, it's a fee to match what our code already says about cereal malt beverages. So that was a section of the code that Lauren needs to revamp anyway, because it doesn't match exactly to the way that we're doing our special events now. And we had talked about that, but
You're blocking Main all the way down to Scott, is that what I'm seeing?
no. No.
We will,
Oh, well,
Ben
yes, you
Ben
are.
Street will be open for people to go back and through. We'll put in cones, and then even up here, we're going to have some cones out there. People will be able to drive through. We just want to slow them down. It'll basically be blocked between Benton here over to Scott Street, because that's where most of the motorcycles will come in and park. But then some of them will go on up the street, and so we're going to put cones across there to at least slow people down. And, you know, we're not going to put flags across there or anything. We're just going to put cones and stuff up, and we'll really cone it off between the two parks, because the food vendors will be sitting there most of the day and so forth. We do have our DJ for the day. We're not 100% sure on that either. Having them set, and Randy's the one that came up with that idea, Smeested, is if he could sit over here right in front of City Hall, which would give him some shade right in there, and he could point a speaker both ways, so we'd run a cord out the window there so he'd have electricity on Saturday while he's playing. And that way, shoot music both directions, and you don't want the music blaring wherever you're at, so that might work pretty good, having him sitting back over here shooting music both ways. So, but we also
You can wirelessly feed those together. You can
Even-
have that,
even
you can
ours
have
down
that at
there?
the museum, and we just need to get a wireless link between it. Yeah.
oh, maybe we need.
And
Right.
September night, yeah, we'll get that. It's not that terribly expensive. That would be the way to do that.
It
Remote
would
that, and then
be,
you could just
and
have
then
it
we
out
could
of the
just
box.
turn those down lower,
That way you could have it.
and then we could still use them, but we'd still like to use that mic down there to key in and announce things.
Exactly.
Okay,
No, I think you'll still make use of it.
okay. So basically the same setup as last year. We look for, it might be a better turnout this year. We're getting all kinds of comments on the poker run.
Good.
Poker run. We put $1,100 guaranteed, and it could be even more than that, depends on how many guys show up.
Wow.
Then that starts to raise that guarantee on that, so guaranteed $1,100 payout. So there's a lot of people were disappointed last year we didn't have a poker run. So we went back to poker run. So most of the day they'll come in, they'll leave, by noon they're leaving, and they'll be back about between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. So a lot of them will leave town for a little while, so give them something to do. And then they also going to have, I better check on that. They're going to do some, yeah, we might have to block this off up here just a little bit more, because they do have some motorcycle games that they're going to try to do. We need that to be fairly flat, probably. So, but anyway, that's the plans on that. So I guess,
I'll move to follow other fees.
Except for the,
the
Liquor
liquor
one.
fee,
I don't know how to handle that one. I mean,
we charged it for the concert in the park, so
Right.
it probably would be appropriate, because it's still part of our thing.
I think, yeah, I don't think we want to do that now. If we want to decide we're going to change that up, we can later, maybe at the first of the year. But yet, it's maybe also kind of nice to have a little teeth to the liquor part of it. You know, just to make them know that, hey, you're spending $100 here, don't mess it up. Because you're just throwing $100 away, or else we won't have them anymore, so. Okay, so you'll waive the vendor's fees and the park fees.
Yes.
Okay, been moved by Larry,
Second.
second by Cale. All in favor? Approved.
Real quick question on that. Who's going to do the liability insurance for it?
I was hoping I was going to get that today from eBay 13.
Oh, that's right. That's what you'd said.
Because we got it so much cheaper through them. It was unreal.
Is the motorcycle museum?
Covered on everything through the eBay 13
Oh, gotcha.
group. And it was just unreal. Let me see if it came. I don't think it did. I forgot this. I've got a deal. Well, I do have a deal here. I could show you that we are covered, but I wanted copies of it, and they're supposed to send it to me. So, but through their group, they was able to insure the whole thing, the poker run, everything that's going on that day. From 6 o'clock in the morning for 24 hours, we're covered.
That is nice.
It's always better than the last place.
Huh?
It's probably better than the last place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that last time when we had to hustle and find that, we really wasn't sure what we was getting out of that.
Yeah, I know.
And through this eBay 13, they do poker runs and these kind of events all the time across the state. There's different districts, and we're in the 13th district, and there's some really good people on there. One of them's a local guy, Stu Edmondson from over at Burlington. He's one of them that's really helped us out with this, and Mona Carver over at Goodland, and so they've helped us out a bunch. And they're doing the whole poker run. Our small group doesn't have to do anything. They're running the whole thing,
Nice.
so.
And who's the band you got this year?
We had to change. It's 3 times 7. You heard of them? I haven't heard of them, but Mona says they're a good band. Stu says they're a good band. We had a different band, but they backed out because, well, I guess the lead singer decided to just retire with the COVID-19. I don't know. He must be my age. I don't know how old he is. He just decided, I'm done, retired, and he moved off somewhere, so they lost their lead singer. And so eBay 13 had it all taken care of within a week. Had our band lined up, so.
Good deal.
Okay, thanks. Okay, on to old business.
Well, we've got to do the special event liquor permit and the resolution.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then we got the special event liquor permit. Riverside Recreation's going to be doing that this year.
And that is, you look at the map for that, it's just the park area and Denison Street. So it's Denison to Francis and Washington to Jackson is where the beer garden will be. So they can't take their beer and walk down Main Street.
I don't want them to go down Main Street with it.
And
They
they're,
go up there and drink their beer.
what did she put here? I think she said 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tuesday.
that's what it shows.
Mhm. So we'll have to have a motion for that, and then we'll have to have a motion and vote for the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event liquor permit.
Okay, it's been moved by Amanda,
Second.
second by Dara. Okay, we'll take a vote. Cale?
Yes.
Amanda?
Hold on a second.
We don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need a
Resolution.
vote
Oh,
for
for
the
the
permit.
resolution. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so that passed, so the resolution 2020-7,
Pass this down for the mayor to sign.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
okay, it's been moved by Amanda, second by Cale. Now we need to vote. Cale?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Dara?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Passes. Okay. Property cleanups. Do you
Sure.
have anything on property cleanup?
Yeah, we should have a court day in September on the one that we did get served on. The other one, the individuals in town, company will get cornered to get served on that. And I'm adding 3 others. I
Which
thought-
ones were those again?
The 3.
Yeah, oh, which ones you got?
What's that?
Which one's going to court and which
Oh,
one's?
Swigert, and then Tommy Paulson is the one that has been back around thanks to a local detective. But they haven't served him yet.
He's still supposedly,
Is he?
I talked to a neighbor today, but he was here in the last week for
Yeah,
something.
it'd be nice to get the
Taking more
papers in
stuff.
his hands. So,
Is that the one up north?
yeah. Read it. Yeah.
I got a question.
Mhm.
Should the resolution mention the park itself? or not?
That's the,
Or
this
doesn't
is,
matter?
this is word for word how they always have been.
Okay.
Just the, what's on the map, the boundaries on the map.
Okay. He said he does.
Any other discussion on property cleanups? Okay, project pending.
Thank you for putting up the flags.
The other than,
Saw several positive comments about them.
Which one?
The new banners.
Oh, the banners, I
Yeah.
thought you said,
Sorry, I didn't say flags, but yeah.
yeah, there's been a lot of good fun.
have you had any more meetings on Washington Street beautification?
We have not, I've had a conversation with Carla that we need to get that back up and that's for the training.
We got something like that and set right there in those grates, leave the grates alone, set pots like that. Those are all around Josh's apartments up there and stuff. I don't know what the pots cost though, so I just took pictures of it.
Yeah. We've talked about that, the problem is who's going to maintain that
I know it.
and who's going to water them and.
Terry.
I don't-
You have businesses that say they will and then businesses come and go and then you have pots that are.
In Goodland, they've got 2 groups of people that do all of it. And they pull a little water wagon around and, I can't, Rayer, I can't think of her first name now. Used to be married to Kevin. She was one of them. And they've got some groups of women that go around, once a week with a cart and water them and kind of weed them out. I don't know if we could ever get a group like, there used to be a garden club in St. Francis.
Well, if they were maintained right and professionally, it'd be worth paying to have it done. I mean, that's quite a beautification for Main Street.
Oh, yeah,
to
when
do
you go
that.
walk around those apartment complexes,
Yeah.
and that's what they've got all the way around it is plants like that, and planters just sitting around. I mean, it adds a lot of color. It just really looks nice. Besides, those grates are kind of a hazard where, where the trees have been taken out and stuff, so. I don't know, I just was thinking of that when I'm walking the dogs. And I'm probably going to be going back to walk the dogs again, so. Anything else on project spending? I think, the more we use that band shell, with Larry's concert deal coming this weekend, and we need to still probably really look at some kind of shades. We're starting to use it more and more, plus get the seats sandblasted and figure out what we can do. It just seems like we're getting more and more interest to use it all the time.
I talked to Brock and I know he hasn't heard, it's a busy time of year, we probably won't till fall, but that's where we're supposed to get another estimate on sandblasting and working with those. steps. I mean, that's a basic improvement that I hate to, I don't know if I hate to have it, but I don't know if you want to spend all that money on a shade structure before your seating looks a lot better than what it does.
Right, right. I think we need to
Improve
get the
what's
seats
there.
done first. I really do.
Yeah.
But if we could get it blasted down to the cement the way it used to be, then patch that cement,
Mhm.
and then I guess we use some kind of a good epoxy paint, but then you gotta do that every probably 5, 6, 8 years and keep it up. And not ever spray anything on the health site again, because that just trapped moisture is all it did.
Did we ever have any interaction with the Historical Society on putting shades there? Because see, they would have...
As long as they were not attached to the building, I think we can do
Is
it.
that what it was?
Yeah, I think as long as we don't attach it to the building, we can do it. If it's out there freestanding with posts.
We have to have checked on it though, because we got quite a ways into getting
Yeah,
estimates.
I
and
think
stuff.
as long as we didn't attach it to the building.
Yeah, I think you're right, now that you say that. I
So
mean,
something similar to what we have at the pool, like a giant canvas
Yeah,
type thing?
you know, put up poles and run cables across that it
Yeah.
would slide across on rings and stuff and things. So, yeah, I mean, it was pretty, you know, to put something up there that big, there was a lot of weight, and so they was trying to design things, and it'll, what was one of those costs?
Well, the one that they had where they had 4 different ones that were layered different,
Yeah.
that covered the whole thing was $120-some thousand. I mean, it's no small.
What about grant
And there was another grant.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah, I
they-
think that's probably the only way to have it, makes
Yeah.
sense.
The other grant, after we had gone down and looked at, was like $168,000.
That's right, it went up. And then we talked about actually the type that they put in at the pool where it's just the L shape that
Mhm.
goes over just parts of the seating. We never went any further with that. But that might be something to look into as opposed to the giant cabling system. I remain concerned about their longevity when we get into those heavy winds. I mean, that's just a tremendous amount of torque to put those up that high in the air and then have them whipping around. They say they're designed for it, but they couldn't take that year after year.
But even if they were at the backside and just went up at an angle and just quit, those ones were going across and everything, and that was a lot of cable going across, to where if they went up in sections, then you could just lower them down, probably take them down in the wintertime, or at least lower them down and bundle them up so they wouldn't be flopping in the
Right.
wind.
The old Coliseum style ones that are just an L shape might be the ones
Mhm.
to... And we talked about that when we ordered the one for the pool, that we'll see how those turn out, and I think they turned out great, by the way, and I don't know if they can make those large enough to cover an area, but that might be worth at least exploring, as opposed to the cabling system that we
You
just...
still want to put something up for the, actually, the banjo or
Yeah.
band or whoever's performing.
Probably.
Because that's just a,
Yeah, it gets hot in there.
Yeah. Sure, there's a decent warranty on something like that. Do you think?
It's just hard to imagine something that big up in the air like that. You know, when we start getting
Yeah.
50-mile-an-hour sustained
A
winds.
warranty to 60-mile-an-hour winds, and then
Exactly.
we'd have 61.
Well, they have them up at the racetrack, that giant canopy they have over the entire bleachers on the, right in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
That's been there for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I guess they're that
High
tough.
planes.
It's just hard to
Yeah.
imagine.
Oh,
I guess they guarantee it.
yeah. Who was saying that?
So we had that company that, and I've still got the paperwork on it at the plant, if that's something we want to look further into.
But I agree, we need to get the seats done first.
Yeah.
mm,
And if we can get those seats done first, it'd be nice if that'd be a project that could be worked on this fall. That probably won't get it done, but where nobody seems to want to.
Who came out to look at it? Was that Mills?
Or for what?
For the second time we did the sail shade thing, because the one I have is the original one that Paula started talking
Right.
It
to.
was the people that did the sales sheet for the pool.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
Okay. I can remember that.
Yeah, because he come
Okay.
down and we walked it and looked at it, and it was, in fact, wasn't too long before we had a concert or something down there.
Is that the one that was 160,000 then?
168.
Hmm.
But that was a really in-depth structure, and it would cover 3/4 maybe of the, even over the grass and stuff. I mean, it went way out.
exactly who I proposed. It was still cabled, wasn't it? It was still on
Cabled,
suspended sales.
Cantilevered, I don't remember.
I think it was pretty cantilevered too, because I think they was putting in some pretty good post
yeah.
columns around every so often,
Yeah.
and they were gonna have to be down in the ground quite a ways to keep them in the ground instead of folding over, so. Well, I guess the first thing we need to do is get the seats done, but like I said, it's starting to seem to be used more and more all the time. I mean, weddings and concerts and, you know, I don't know how the concert went during the fair. Was there many there?
We were told 40 to 50 people. But,
Yeah, well,
and that was kind of
last minute deal.
Cody's take on it too.
Yeah, last minute deal. So that probably won't happen again. So, okay, anything else to talk about on the project spending? For you down there at the bottom, which we kind of put it at the bottom, that arch sign, that was brought up several years ago. 5 years ago,
When
maybe
I first
longer.
got here, so 5
Maybe.
years, yeah.
But that was to put it like up on College Street and maybe River Street, more so College Street than anything, because everybody comes into the school for that away. It's like Atwood has that big arched deal going up, going down to their main street. That's what that was, and it would say St. Francis, welcome to St. Francis.
Yeah, we've talked about it, Main Street, we get off Main Street.
Get all over
But it
town.
promotes Main Street.
But hadn't it been talked about at the north, or the east end of Main Street too? That's what I remember Roger talking about, was up there with high school.
This would be clear up by Morse, right there in Cooper's Station, putting it in there. Back a little ways, we thought we'd come off the highway just a little ways, so once you turn, you'd be able to read it and see it and stuff, back like 50 to 100 yards, and then come up and go across. And then they decorate it up nice in the Christmas time with lights and stuff, so that's why that's down there. But that was going to be fairly expensive to do too. So, we can win the lottery. Somebody win the lottery. Okay. Street project.
So I didn't, Tyler Helmer was supposed to give me the thing on the time frame for the street project, and he just sent me the simple email of it. I reminded him I didn't get it at the last meeting. Nothing too earth-shattering there, that's just the general thoughts of what the dates will be on what's happening. They did have a lot of other projects that were further along that they're working on, and that's why, you know, this one, there's no, the September, the preliminary design stuff, we still have plenty of time to work forward towards it and be where we want to be for bidding.
So we're not in danger of running out of time on stage one, are we?
No. No, you have two years, and you can ask for an extension also, but you don't want to do that in order to be able to apply for more grants. I think it's considered imperative that you get your phase, or whatever proposed work there is done in a 2-year time period. Is that the way you remember it?
Yes.
Okay. Unforeseeable circumstances can extend that, but you don't want to do that, and we'll be in really good shape for that starting that early, hopefully. Hopefully there won't be a new COVID-20.
Well, and some people just, you know, they're upset because we're not getting streets, but they don't understand if we hurry up and try to get bids to do something this fall, they're going to jack the prices up on us to bring in somebody, because they're, you know, they're running behind anyway. If we say this project had to be done here in October by the middle of November, okay. And so then we wouldn't get near as many streets done.
Now, the curbs, do those need to be done before they come in and do the streets, or is that? I mean, I don't
Yes.
know the-
Yeah.
But it's all part of it. That's just the beginning of the construction. It will be the same contractor, either
contractor.
with a
Okay.
subcontractor or doing it for themselves.
Okay,
Mhm.
just asking.
And that's why we didn't take the stumps of the trees out, because didn't want to take them out and ruin curb and gutters worse than they are, and streets, and then it sits all winter long. So the rest of the trees won't, the stump part of the trees won't come out until we're ready to do work. Okay, pool report.
All I really have is next Sunday will be the last day. Got a really good turnout on Sunday, yesterday. Still have aqua size and lap swimming the rest of this week, and then I think this is the week that the kids, the fifth graders, will be using the pool in the afternoon for about a half hour. So we've at least got some extended time out of it. We were hoping to have a little more, but it's tough to do it when it's staff, I guess. All in all, I think we've had a really good year. We have, I want to sit down and look at the budget side of things here later this fall, as we kind of get things wrapped up and kind of see how we're set compared to in the past. And we want to look at like some pool passes next year and pool board will probably look at some things here and there, but my main goal is maybe to try to get a couple adults that would actually be interested in hiring to actually be lifeguards, and maybe we can carry it later in the season and have more open days other than just weekends. I mean, I'd love to be able to get through the end of August at least with more than just a Sunday for the last 3 days. That's about all I have. Any questions?
I have a comment. This year I haven't had one single complaint about the pool's cleanliness or operations. I haven't heard anything this year. In years past, we've struggled a little bit with with some of those things. So it's been, from my perspective, it's been fantastic.
Better just getting it started. Which
That's
was-
exactly right,
That
but
was
that's
just one of those things that just happened. And,
Yeah. But no,
and,
once going up, it was, from my perspective, it was.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good comments. I haven't heard a bad comment at all about the pool and how it was operated this summer. So kudos to the crew and to everybody. So,
That's been the unique thing. We just haven't had to be there 4 to 5 days a week. It's been a big relief for me, and I know it's been a big relief for JR. We just haven't had to get down there.
think Kelly will come back next year.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I can't say for definite, but
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept and file the pool report? Moved by Derek,
Second.
second by Amanda, all in favor. Approved building permits.
I just have one paper one here, and it was in the list. I haven't turned any in for you.
No.
Just one for Mayfield.
No.
Huh?
Oh, okay, that's
where's it putting this?
What's that?
I don't think,
okay. These are
So
the,
it's going to take
I
that
thought these were
lean-to
the-
thing that's on the side of the main building, so you're facing right there, where the little house is on the corner, and the main building, there's that lean-to thing there that we could move, and you set back up to towards the property to the west.
And put all those vehicles inside that?
what's that, oh, there's the old Carl Williams place?
No, and Kelly Lampy putting in
Oh,
a large building or another.
well, that Hispanic couple, they have changed that
Oh,
place
wow.
down
Oh,
there.
wow, isn't that
Like
crazy?
all get out.
Yeah.
Where's this?
There used to be the Carl Williams place.
On the corner?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, they took all those trees and bushes out of there, and then you saw a house.
Really?
And then they cleaned all that up, and then they put a deck clear around it,
Changed
Then
the
they
door.
changed the doors and windows on it, just totally
Siding.
changed that place. They
Okay.
gutted the inside. Now the garage that they're putting up, it's unreal.
Who's living there?
They don't live here yet. They're a Hispanic couple out of Denver.
She
Does she live here?
I believe she and the kids do, and he
Oh,
still
okay.
works in Denver and comes back and forth.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, the boy, he worked, must work all night long,
Wow.
24/7 while he's home, because
Will this project get cars off the street? Then are you legally sitting there?
We discussed that. I said, are you gonna try to keep some of this stuff? I try, I keep it moving. I said, I know, there's
Yeah,
always
he
a
keeps
lot
it
of
moving,
stuff
yeah.
on the.
So he's putting this building in where?
Huh? Oh, so there's the lean-to on the main structure. It's got kind of that weird thing on it.
Yeah.
So, to the north, and then there's the old house.
Right.
So it'd be that area between there. Those would be cleared out.
Cleared out.
And be put back that way.
So in other words, you won't have any room for outdoor storage. All the stuff's in the back. No, I'm serious. I mean,
Yeah, no, he's wanting to put some of it, whatever he can inside. But it's, the drill.
It'll still be on the outside curbs all the way around. He don't know how to operate any different, so. It's too bad out there, that other shop that he dad has, it's just on the north side of the railroad tracks. It's too bad his business isn't there. Off of the streets there, where it wouldn't matter if it's out there in the lot, out in the middle of it. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the building permit? Did you make the motion, Cale?
Yeah.
Cale made the motion.
second.
Second by Larry. All in favor? Yeah, maybe?
I thought JR's
That was
cookies would come on.
Yes.
Maybe it will help. We hope. We can only hope. Superintendent report.
So the pre-construction meeting that was supposed to be the 18th got moved to tomorrow, the 25th, with Ward Electric, and we're just going to go over what work we're going to try to get done this year out of our $150,000 budget for labor. I've got an invoice from Brock. So we did all those alley approaches that they did all those improvements on, and what I had Brock do, I authorized a significant amount of extension of those things, just to make sure there wasn't edges and things for the trash truck along the way. But I didn't want to come here with an invoice based on that without talking to you. So I have from him the invoice for the amount that we had authorized, and then the additional work that I authorized is going to be close to another $6,000 on top of this. But if you don't do them right, you shouldn't even bother doing them. Going forward, we're going to re-estimate them further from what the existing ones were, because once you start putting new concrete there and your trash truck's hitting half the concrete as it turns the corner, you can't hardly make it thick enough to last with that trash truck. So, again, I authorized a significant amount of work, but this invoice is for the $11,730, which should match the estimated amount that we had authorized to be done. I guess we could pay him out a cycle on that. I will come back with the additional work at the next meeting.
Well, I know how many did he do for 11,000?
A lot.
Because I thought it was cheap for what he was doing. I really did.
And he was measuring it as it's set, but once you look at it, when you're doing them that way, so many of them were too short. That's why they were busted up.
Right.
So we extended further into the alleys and
More
further
apron
out,
count,
and we actually spilled into what would potentially be the private side of it. But their alley approaches, these are caused by the trash truck. It just didn't seem like something I wanted to get tangled up with homeowners on. It's just small amounts, but if you don't do it, then you're going to be transitioning from old concrete that's going to break right away onto the new. So anyway, it was quite a bit more authorized work than I'd thought, but again, the pricing on it was quite attractive from the very beginning, and it will be going forward. We're just going to expand on how they did all of these and hopefully be much closer to the pricing.
Do we have more intersection? What do you call those? Like gutter or
Oh, just the pans?
the pans?
Yeah, we do, in
Do we have
fact.
more of those?
So here's the thing, when I come back and we get squared away on that, I've actually got two estimates from him. One is for the Sawhill Park, the curb and gutter, where we had that water leak, where the whole thing sunk away, if you've ever seen that. And then Washington and Angle by the co-op, where that has been destroyed by the trucks. I have the estimates for those two. But I do also want to come back to the next, it'd be the north side of Washington.
Didn't
if
you just do that?
What's, no,
No?
that's south side.
South side, okay.
Yeah. But the north side is just
Yeah.
migrating. It's going pretty quick on that side. And that's a significant one. That one's like $7,560 just for that one there. We have on the list to do yet, the ones at Adams Street. I'm trying to think, the intersection of Spencer and Benton, we authorized that one. So there is more work that we have that's been authorized and a lot more money in concrete. This is just the alley portion of it. But I do want to get some more authorized. You need to do it to do the streets, and
Yeah.
the pans in.
And can he get those done this fall? Some of this stuff, like that Spencer and Bess, get that done, so that's good and set up good before they come in and start doing work, because we don't want to have new concrete.
Yeah.
If it could be.
Part of the problem with fall concrete work then is
Yeah.
the salt that comes from the highway. So
That's
when
true.
we start getting into late September, October, I don't think we want it done because
Yeah.
we've had the way that breaks the surfacing of our concrete up, I'd rather
That's
wait.
true, very true.
Well, and you're also, you gotta consider fall harvest too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You wanted this paid out of cycle
Yes.
Friday?
Yeah, if we could.
Yeah.
If
We
that's-
just need a
if
motion to
is
do
that-
that.
Is that a big deal?
No,
Okay.
but I need a motion to do it.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, we're, $11,730, moved by Cale, second by Amanda, all in favor? Approved.
Okay.
Yeah, because what they were doing here, it just seemed like
Probably
really
somebody
cheap.
calling about the roadside park.
Do I need to answer it? No?
It's what?
That's what that call was earlier, is somebody wanted to know about our campground. I
You want
answered
this,
it.
or you want it to go on?
That can go to line. So the next part with Brock is that estimate for the Washington Street North at Angle Road, and that one's $7,560. And then the curb and gutter at the north edge of the courthouse park, which is actually the county's, but we did that when we fixed a water line, and if it was on private property, we would fix it ourselves. So.
How
It
much
was-
is it?
That's $420.
Wow.
Where's that?
If the north center of the courthouse park
Oh, yeah.
is a bad sinkhole, that was a 19-teens water line that.
Before these guys' time.
What's that? It was.
Before these
That
guys'
was
time.
interesting. Remember, we was running water out of pipe in Benton Street, because every time you patch it, it'd build up pressure and it'd pop again. It wasn't supposed to be on. And we patched it over and over. We dug 4 different places along Sawhill and the courthouse park. And that's finally, that one place is where we had it open, and we finally had to patch it there and put a relief pipe. And I think we ran that for a couple months before we could get it isolated in another part of town. It was a strange oversight on a water fix a long time ago. I actually have a piece of the pipe. It's so paper thin, it's just weird, and new holes that just show up, and it was kind of fascinating. So anyway, if I could get this authorized to move forward, in addition to the ones that we have already authorized, being Spencer and some of those other ones which I didn't bring, we can certainly look at those.
So when do you think he was gonna do that down there at the end of Main Street, because fall harvest coming up? So you just,
I think we're getting it on the books. I want it done. I don't know that we'll get it. I don't think we'll probably get it this year. It'll probably be spring. I would have to guess at this point it would be a problem to do it this year, but I want it on the books. I want him to do it as soon as he's available.
yeah, because sometime in October, they'll start picking corn and.
Yeah. And I want to just keep doing that as long as we have the money. Getting started on this concrete, be it, curb and gutter, it keeps things moving in the right directions. I know it doesn't cover square footages of streets, but then when you do go to do a street, you're not dealing with that alley pan and you know.
But he could go ahead and fix this over here at the park.
Yes, yeah,
And that would be a good thing, so.
yeah.
Do I hear a motion to approve the $7,980 worth of cement work?
Second.
Moved by Cale, second by Larry, all in favor? Approved.
But can I ask a quick question? I know it's a sore subject about these crossovers and stuff, but do we have any options at all of being able to do anything on these crossovers?
We could do any, yeah, we could ask their permission and fix their minutes at our expense.
I just,
That's where they stand.
that's
on
the
it.
biggest
Mhm.
complaint over
Yeah,
and over
I'll
and
review it.
over again getting about the community.
What's a reflection of our town?
I just thought I'd throw that out there. I mean,
I mean,
it just seems like we've been on this for several years, we haven't gotten anywhere. Do we go ahead and take the bull by the horns and do something on our own without
We own it.
damaging?
You'll own
we
it.
own it, and there's millions of dollars worth of, fixing up there. I don't think
It's,
we want.
so here, and this is, and Amanda and I've beat this dead horse over and over, we need to go ahead and pick the fight. It's time to either get an attorney who has dealt with the state before and get the fact that they own the property and it's not a right-of-way in front of them, and if we have to or can do or can by some legal means do just the crossovers or something, but we can't, if we set foot on it, they'll pull their state statute out that says, there it is, you just took it. That's where they stand on this.
They've been trying to do that ever since they took all the sod, or dropped them down a couple feet, because some of them were built so high. And then we helped with that project. We bought the buffalo seed, and they planted it, but then they mowed it for a while. Then all of a sudden, they didn't mow it anymore. So we started mowing it. Then all of a sudden, they weren't spraying or taking care of that either. So we started taking care of that. So they basically thought we'd taken it clear over. That's all we've done so far.
I get that, and I understand that it's a big project. My concern is just the crossover.
Oh, yeah.
And if you could separate them out, I think it would be considerable. That was attempted. The state had it in place where we was actually looking at them, they had the funding and stuff in place, and then it blew up for no apparent reason in the middle of that thing. But yeah, we know it's their property, but all that is clear. It's just a matter of maybe utilizing the city attorney to find a specific attorney to that subject that we could potentially hire to move somewhere with it. Because I agree completely. I hear about these things forever, and you get tired of saying it's the state's problem. It's our problem because you got to drive across the damn things. So.
I guarantee you go and start blocking a couple of them off, and they'll be out here.
Yeah.
There's an accent word.
Well, that's the thing. You try to block them off, it would be right out here, but then if you want to open up a new spot, they won't allow that anymore either.
We gotta be safe,
Well, that's the thing, it's dangerous, and not just because it's a motorcycle museum, but those guys that come in on a motorcycle, they come across that, it's a good thing we fill in the holes.
Do you remember our first meeting down in Hayes? Oh, they're not dangerous. They're not dangerous. They come back and, oh, they're dangerous, we need to, let's get them fixed, and here's this plan, and they went from.
There's some of these cars that bottom out when they hit them holes.
They just,
So would it be appropriate that I would see if I can't get a hold of Lauren to see if she has the resources to find us a specialized, I would think it would be
That's
specialized.
where we gotta go.
We did this when we had the power issue, which only Scott would be aware of, when I first got here 19 years ago, where we went, and Mike knew that wasn't something the city attorney could do, and we went to Wichita, got an attorney. It was expensive, but it was well worth it in getting the big player to recognize that you're not going to keep bumbling along with it. But that's all. That's where we're stuck, and we got strung along by him for so long, by way of Amanda and different promises. So, I think
They've made us all kinds of promises.
And I think Lauren's had time to review everything we know about it, didn't she? Didn't you talk to her about it as well?
But we are sure they own it?
as far as what,
That's
I
the
mean,
biggest thing.
I
is
would
making
think you would also get another
Title.
title.
And that might
Get
be-
a certified title.
Yeah.
Cassandra,
Sandra.
I've got her stack of work that she's done, but she,
So again, it goes back to get somebody, because that would be something that if you get an attorney that has dealt with things like this,
Mhm.
would say, this is your next step. Let's not, I would think that'd be guessing to do
Yeah,
that.
we're ready for that.
We know what we know. Now, aren't we ready, confident enough that we don't own them, that we need to move a direction?
Yeah.
To me, that would be,
other than that one, who's that one seems to be fair in the legal description.
I think its confusion leans to our side, our favor, in the fact that even if it isn't, I mean, just we've taken way more than anybody else has from the state with the roadside parks, the shower houses. You know, there is so much more infrastructure there. We're unique. You can't tell me there wouldn't be an attorney interested in that one. And the truth of the matter is, we can't give in. We'll go broke on something, we'll overlook sewer, water, and electric to try to deal with these islands in the, the falling apart of the water systems. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what that would cost. Some of those boxes that are on the side that sends the damn water through town, those are going to fail. We can't afford to deal with that. Because basically what they say is you have to take care of it, but you got to clear whatever you do with this. It's like, that is an impossibility. That's not the way it works in this clear highway. So, back, talking to the
Even back
direction.
to the last, they offered was, we'll eliminate the access road if you guys agree to a 3-1 title. Well, it's not our decision. And when I went back to them, then they blew up at me going, well, and like, you need to make this decision now, or it's not going to be on the table forever. It's like, but that's not our decision to redo the highway, that's yours.
And if they never get rid of the access road, guess what? All the frontage property people up there are going to destroy, because then it's going to be theirs. And they're going to have to do a lot.
But it's
Sewer
their
network,
problem.
asphalt work.
It is their problem all the way to those people. It's their problem to go to negotiate with those people if that's what they want to do. It's not
Yep.
the cities. We have the
Right.
problem of access road and crossovers that makes it dangerous for people to get in town, and it's just a damn mess. That's where we stand. It's your property. That's where we should always stand, is it's your property until we're forced in another direction. It's just too much. We can't handle it.
Well, there last year when we went down to Hayes, they kind of, they're serious now.
And Colby, when I went to
Yeah,
Colby,
you went to Kobe, and so we better not quit now. We better stay right on top of them, because pretty soon they're going to think, we pushed them under the rug again. So that's what we need to do, is find out who we can find to hire to at least give us an opinion whether we can get something done.
Okay. And that's a matter of consultation on what we have. I mean, I would happily, or the only reason I didn't get in on the last run of the state negotiations, because I had such a falling out with them. I mean, I don't want to see them any more than they want to see me. I mean, there's honesty issues there. You can't even trust what's said, so. But yeah.
Well, I think everybody agree that we need to see who Lauren could, if she knows somebody. If she doesn't, maybe we could contact Mike. Maybe he knows somebody that we could contact, but we need to find somebody.
Whoever you guys dealt
Mike,
with.
Mike,
19 years ago?
somebody?
What's that now?
Whoever you dealt with 19 years ago, whether or not they'd still be.
No, they were specific to power contracts, and that's why I say when you get somebody specialized, that's when things start moving a direction. Yeah, no, I would be looking for someone who has dealt specifically with the state and/or state right-of-ways and property disputes.
Yeah,
And that is their area of practice.
Yeah.
And again, that was in Wichita for the power contract. I would expect it not to be somebody from the neighboring town. I would expect this to be a
Wichita,
bigger city.
Topeka, Kansas City.
Yeah.
Well, does everybody agree that we need to move on and try to get something figured out, because we just keep pushing it away? And, okay, let's do it. See what who she can find.
Okay, I think we were still on my stuff, right? The last thing I had is I made a mistake, and it's like the third time I've done this, and I always feel bad about it. Kerry Swigert and his golf thing up there, we just removed a bunch of their obstacles by removing that stuff. So I told him I wanted to get with him because I still have a lot of trees and things I want to remove, but I think we probably need a plan of putting things back. Otherwise, you just keep removing, and next thing you know what you're left with. So I just wanted to point that out. He asked a long time ago to put that in there. It's a very popular thing, and I keep messing with it, and it's completely unintentional, but we're going to try to get something that puts some things back, and I can come back and propose that then. So he can quit having to move his things around to make it work.
What are you talking about, put back? You talking about like trees or?
Yep. Trees, bushes, just, whatever should be in the park. We have so many trees that are dying out and the bushes.
Let me know on some of that, because that might be something Greg we should look at that too.
Okay.
Because that actually was put in place through the recognition, if I remember right.
So I would ask that you, Eric, and I look at it, because I know what I want to remove. I don't know what he may want to put back in, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anyway.
60-foot trees with shade.
Yeah.
And obviously, we have a height restriction there for the
Yeah.
airport, because we had to cut down some trees that weren't more than 20 feet tall when they did that, when they got their federal funding. So it is a restricted area, too.
Yeah. But it does look better getting those big overgrown evergreens out of there. That was nothing but trash and.
I told him we had
Farming
everything from
and-
people living in it to people hiding in it, and
Yeah.
trash getting thrown in it, and it's like,
Yeah.
anyway. That's all I have.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept and file the superintendent report?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dare, second by Amanda, all in favor? Approved? No attorney report. Clerk, Lila?
First off, I need to ask permission to make an out-of-cycle payment. This is the time of year where we are renewing our AirMed and our LifeSave memberships and you guys, if you're wanting to do that, I need the payment by Wednesday. But I am going to have to send the check in on Friday because I waited a little too long to get this put together, and I can't wait till the next pay cycle to pay them. And it's just a reimbursement. People pay, and then people pay the city, and then we cut a check for the same amount to these two places. But I need to do that out of cycle. So.
Now, they sent us the renewal thing. And I just sent it in.
Oh, they did?
Uh-huh.
Well,
So,
I don't think you're on the group membership. Your name wasn't on my list. Larry's on it.
oh.
Larry's on.
We didn't get anything. I got
I-
a letter from you.
Right, yes. So, as
So
long
you
as
just
you're-
need a motion to do it out of cycle?
Yes.
So moved.
Moved by Larry, second by Amanda, all in favor? Approved.
Yeah, on the share, and Scott, no, I don't, hold on, Scott, I think I need to hand you one. Send that down to Scott. This is the letter that I am proposing to put with our bills. So it's out on the share. If you click on the clerk report, it's the document that will come up. Just a summary of the CDBG grants for the businesses. And then also out on the share, and Scott, I did not make you a copy of this, but I can, is the actual business application that we will give to the businesses that ask for it. I'd also like to put this on our website, in our Facebook page, and the newspaper.
Wonder how long it'll take her to go through these once we get them in here and send them down to her. I wonder how long, because she's probably doing it for several towns.
She is overwhelmed, yeah, she's so busy.
So I wonder how long it'll take her to get them back to us to. Of course, you take each town, there might only be 20 or 30 businesses in each town that turn one in, so it won't be like it's 200 or 300 from each town.
Yeah.
Everybody like what you got written up here to send out with them? Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
I contacted the senior center on the meals portion, and we can't help them at all because they don't pay for any food at all. It's all paid for. Organization out of Hayes pays for the food and the primary cook. All they pay for down here is for the second cook and the building insurance and maintenance. So there's nothing that we can help them with our funds.
This is just for food, right?
Yes. Well, that is my understanding, but when I was reviewing the documents, I sent Justine a question because on one of the documents it actually said it could be used for rent. And I read it, and so I forwarded her that document, and just for clarification to find out if the state changed their mind or are we not reading this correctly. I still feel like there's a potential that rent could be covered. Justine's looking into it. She hasn't heard back from the state. So.
As much as they change it.
Yeah.
Ever fluid.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, as it stands right now, it's just for food.
What about those meals on wheels?
She says that's still happening. People
Why?
just call into Hayes, and they're still doing them.
I
Yeah.
didn't think that stopped, but
Yeah, she says they do it 3 times a week, and then the nursing home up there do it the other 2 days. And people just have to call into Hayes and get on the list. So, yeah, she said it's still going. So. Let's see here. An update on the Spark funding from the county. I haven't heard from them. I listened to the commissioners' meeting, and in the commissioners' meeting, the task force approved. I had submitted the reimbursement for $1,075, and we were approved for $836.47. It's not clear to me what wasn't approved. Not really sure.
They had some questions on, I'm trying to think, was it some phone bills or something?
Long distance. I wondered if it was the long
Yep,
distance that
it was
it
on some phone
cost.
bills. That's what Ryan told me.
And I wondered if that's what it was. I had turned in the long distance charges when we would dial in to Zoom. They were long distance charges. So, but that's okay. They had to, they have to. They can't approve everybody's. They did approve. The task force approved our request for all of the facility upgrades that we want to do. But now it goes to the state, and I haven't heard anything from anybody whether or not the state approves those plans. So that's where we're at with that.
And what was that final thing?
That's $49,311.70. So,
That's for all bathroom upgrades and
Portable.
portable hand sanitizer stations, yeah. Yep. Ed worked really, really hard on very short notice to put together.
We got the city and the county, the courthouse and the EM building all needing them in a day's time to get estimates together.
He worked so hard, and JR too. It was like, we didn't have a lot of notice.
It was just kind of funny. Come here, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did
but
a
even
great
if we're
job.
off a little bit, if we can get basically $50,000, and it took another $5,000 to finish all this,
Yeah.
that's a big plus for us to
Yeah.
get these things upgraded.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at on that. But with that said, since we didn't get, so the other part of our request, I can't remember if we've talked about this before, but the other part of our request for the funds to establish a grant to help citizens, that was denied. It was denied for us, and it was also denied for Bird City, because what they're going to do is take the funds that were left, which was about $87,000 after all the entities were awarded what they had requested or thereabouts. They've created what they're calling an emergency relief fund, and they're going to manage that at the county level, and that opens those funds up to
Either town.
Either
if there's an
town.
outbreak here or there. And I know they didn't want to pigeonhole, like Bird City had requested money for funeral expenses.
Yes.
Or if you pigeonhole it to that, you have to use it for that expense. So creating a countywide relief fund
Yes.
opens it up to either city or options to utilize it.
Yes.
Because if you don't utilize it, you have to give it back. So.
And they haven't got the criteria established yet, exactly how that's going to work. I think they have to wait probably for the state to approve it before they move forward.
But I think that was a good move.
I think so
Yeah.
too. And so with that said, I don't need a bank account at Western State Bank, because there's nothing for us to be taking money in and dispersing it back out to anybody. We're just we'll just use our regular bank account to make these upgrades, and then they will reimburse us for those invoices. So, don't need that other bank account. Transient vendors, I didn't have Cody work on it too hard because I knew Lauren was going to be out. We will have something for the next meeting with some ordinances and sample applications from the surrounding communities. That's all I have.
And did we do the grant for the Eugene or the Shane?
Nope. What, was I supposed to?
Wasn't we going to have Cody work on for the pool for the?
Oh, but we never got anything on the AED devices?
Yeah.
Yeah, we never got anything from Bruce, and I have nothing to go with to write a grant. So nope, did not.
Okay. I just asked. I didn't know where it was.
It went
I knew we
nowhere.
talked about it because it cuts off the 31st.
Yeah, I got an email from somebody, Carol, I think, to remind me of that, but I don't know.
About information,
They just really didn't have anything to, unless there's something you want me
And
to
you
throw
can't
together.
guess
maybe.
because we know what happened there, then they come back and say we need the exact amount.
Yeah. So no, that didn't go anywhere. Sorry about that.
No, I was just asking. I knew we had talked about it at one time.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, well, do I hear a motion to accept and file the clerk report? Moved by Cale,
Second.
second by Dare, all in favor? Approved. Council comments, Cale,
I don't think I have anything for that.
amendment? Dare?
Tomorrow night's the strategic doing meeting at 6:30 at Gales.
Yeah, so you start at 7.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, Larry?
Want to bounce the volleyball deal off you guys again. Rec Commission would like to take the volleyball net from down at Sam Volleyball where it's not getting used, and take it down to the park and just set a couple poles down there and put it in the park. Or I would like to, I don't think I've taken you down there and actually look at that. Did I mention that to you when we were down there? Okay.
Yes, we discussed it.
But I'd like to clear it with JR just to make sure that we don't have any kind of issues or anything. Right now, there's not enough lighting down there to where we'd have to worry about anything after dark, which is probably a good thing. What we've looked at is behind where the bathroom's at. One deal was to go north and south, so you could play back and forth and just take completely away from the streets. And we're not going to mark it out or nothing, it's just going to be the net, and kids can play, hit the ball around, whatever. The other idea was to put it clear up at the street, but I don't like that idea because the ball's in the street all the time.
I will tell you, between the picnic shelter is to the east, that gets utilized a lot by kids playing football.
Right. And what I didn't want to do is cut the park off to where you could not use that. And part of the reason, it'd take up about half of that area. So you'd still have more than half, and we can, I can show you there sometime if you want to look at it. You still have more than half of the use of the park to play football and all that, because that was my concern too.
It gets used a lot.
Mhm.
And now, I don't know, with that up there, if that would get utilized just as much, or, I don't know.
I don't,
What about on that photo there? So directly in front of the bathrooms or
What
to the
photo?
west?
Oh. They'd actually thought about putting, or we talked about putting it right in here, coming about 10 feet off the bathroom. So it'd come down to about here maybe, and go north and south. So this area right in here would be play area for the volleyball. And then you still have all this area open. And it had been discussed turning it the other way too, and running this way, but then you get the ball out in the street. So basically what we were looking at is going like that. You have maybe that far down.
What about over on the east side, on the east side of the picnic shelter and the south of the, clear over, yeah, that one,
Here?
yeah, going to the east, or sorry, west.
To your right.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna get into streets.
So the net will be north-south, so you play east-west.
Was what we're looking at, play
Yeah.
east-west, yeah. I don't like having it out here by the street because
Yeah.
that's what we ran into down here. The ball was constantly getting down the street and one mile and stuff.
It'd be nice if you just moved the sand and everything.
We had looked at that when we first did it, it's just too big, we didn't want to take that much space out of the park. In fact, I think I'd come to a meeting when we first did that. Just think about it, any
But
questions?
If you did run it east and west, I know what you're saying, but it would take somebody hitting the ball pretty hard to get it clear to the street on that grass.
Oh, yeah.
If you kept it
East and west. right.
closer to the bathrooms instead of coming out closer to the street.
And then that way, that would leave a bigger area for them to play football if you ran them
If you went
east and west with it.
and played north and south, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's doable too.
Play north and south. Then
Well,
you're hitting it towards the street.
You're hitting it toward the street, but you'd have to hit a volleyball pretty darn hard to get it from there clear out to the street. I mean, it could happen, but it wouldn't happen too often.
If you keep it away from the street.
Right.
Go closer to the,
And then that way, when that net's running east and west,
So you're
that would
talking-
open up a bigger area for kids that are playing football and stuff.
you're talking about going like this.
Right.
Don't they normally play football east and west though?
Yeah.
They do, yeah. That or throw a baseball around, I mean, there's a lot of activity.
But I can't imagine
Then
that
again,
you're
we're
gonna
not trying to
have
have regulations.
kids down there playing volleyball.
And that's why I'm
football,
saying put
baseball,
that
all the
east
time.
and west, because that would give them more room to play their
It
football.
wouldn't, it wouldn't cut it
Yeah.
off, so to speak.
Right.
The high school girls set one, a couple weeks ago up on the practice field in the corner of it, and because they said the stickers would sit that down, sand volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
And so they set it up, Cody crying, helped them set it up down there in the corner.
Yeah, we had practice
So,
field.
Uh-huh.
Move the sand and everything.
Huh?
Put sand in that and everything, eventually.
Not at the park. I wouldn't want that.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah.
It'd take up too much space for a legal-sized court. I mean,
Well-
all we're wanting to do is have
Yeah.
somebody where you can play a game.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, and I think, on good, nice grass, they'd have fun playing on the grass too.
We got outvoted when San Loco got put in down there. That's not where we wanted. We had looked at the park first, but then when I come to the meeting, I really felt it was way too big to want to put it down there. It would have taken up way too much room.
But does it have to be regulation size?
Well, you need to have enough play surface area, I
Yeah.
guess. Just kick it around,
Yeah.
just something Rec Commission's asked about if we'd be.
Well, I think they should at least go ahead and do the net, don't you think? Net and everything.
So what's your thoughts, east and west?
Doesn't matter, I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't make that where you could make it where you lock them in and you can remove them too. I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
So you can take them out,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to put concrete in.
Yeah, just put it subgrass it, so it's not something, just enough to where.
Lead, so
Yeah.
pipe
so
would
it's just
slide
a
down
sleeve
in there.
that's in there.
East and
Well,
west.
maybe if you could stake it out, east and west and north and south, we could take a look at it to see how far, and get a better look at it.
Okay. We did that one night, and I can go either way with that. I mean, we just thought that, and I know what you're saying about having, my idea was if you had half of it for volleyball and half of it for football and baseball stuff. But if you turn it the way Scott's talking about, you've still got both areas open around that volleyball deal, and chances are that you're not going to play volleyball and baseball and football and everything else at the
Same time,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the rec commission would take care of whatever cost was tied with that. So, that didn't end up being what we wanted to do down there, and I think the fence is probably, if we decide to take it out down there, we're gonna take the fence out and take it down to the ball field and use it for some things we need down there. So, I mean, we've got uses to go with it. We're not getting anywhere on the old pool property. Nothing's happened there yet, so. Any questions on that? Concerts on Saturday. I just had a private message from a gal that is in Rapid City tonight, seeing the long run. She said, I just wanted you to know we're here. Guys are super excited about coming in. We think everything's in place. The only thing Jay was going to ask real quick, when the trash guys come through, can they dump the trash cans on the east side of the band shell? There's still a bunch of beer cans and stuff in those.
I talked to them, and said that we was having a concert that we need this clean.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
Yeah,
I
just
do,
was
I mean,
curious.
I'll follow up.
It was yesterday, it hadn't been done, so. That's all I really got. Come out to the concert, it's gonna be a great time.
Good. Good. People are coming. Talking to
Is it liners currently?
At least two of them have liners.
Talking about trash containers, somebody mentioned it to me today, and it probably isn't that bad an idea. Even on Main Street, the ones that we have, we might need more, or they need to be emptied more often. And then probably the two biggest areas is right down there by the post office and the Motorcycle Museum. I don't know about down
Yeah,
yours, but it seems like they're
yeah.
full all the time. So we either need to get some more, or they need to be dumped more often.
And does the trash guys dump those?
Yeah.
And down at the library, that pile of mess got cleaned up, but the trash can is still sitting on the
Yeah, on the
south
back
side
side.
of the library, full of trash.
Nobody's picking it up.
So I don't know why it got moved back there. The lid is, or the top is on it, 'cause it was off there for a while. The top is on it, but it's not dumped, and I don't know why it's not out front of the library.
Some of those tops have blown off and got destroyed.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah, ours is falling
I
apart.
put the one at the museum together a couple times, and now it's gone again, so. But it's bad through there, the wind blows them off all the time.
JR, if I had extra bags, I could at least dump it once a week when it's full.
I'd absolutely get your bags for it. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to decide whether we check
Oh.
whether we can do it Tuesday.
Or maybe we need to look at the places on Main Street and maybe add a couple more, maybe not, I don't know.
I don't know, I mean, you're just gonna get one, and I know that sounds contradictory, but I'm sitting here.
A lot of people that will pull up, dump all the trash out of their car.
That's
Yeah,
what burns me,
that's
that's the
true.
ones I'm cringing at when you're
Yeah,
saying, let's
that's
pick it
very
up
true.
more and let's do this, because
Yeah.
Very true.
But do they dump them once a week, or like the
Once a
commercial
week.
ones?
Fridays, I think.
Fridays.
Don't they run those, do they run
They
those
do ours on
Tuesdays?
Tuesday.
Tuesdays, yeah, I knew it was one or the other, because Friday's just the business.
So maybe, I don't know if you want to add it Tuesdays and Fridays to those receptacles as well, just to see if that,
I don't know. I just know that it seems like a lot of times they're full.
If it was the place you could pick up the piece of trash that somebody dropped to put in is one thing, but I don't know how many times I see somebody going back 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Put on these things at the other side, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with what Carol said, somebody pulls up there and they got a lot of trash in their car, so they take it and throw it in there and they go ahead and buy something else and they leave, and so the
Yeah.
next place they stop down the road, they
Yeah.
take it out.
I can't believe how much McDonald's I see in that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just take a look at it.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Moved by Dara, or was it Amanda?
Give Kale.
Kale.
Okay,
Kale,
Kale.
I think
Okay,
Sarah.
Kale,
He
Amanda,
had the energy.
Whoever.
I had the
I don't
energy
know.
to stand.
all in favor, stand up and leave.
Whoever let
Who
it.
did it? Kale?
Kale.
Sarah.
Kale did it.
First